Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to get into it with Cardano. If you've been following the channel, you know I'm a huge fan of Cardano. I have been with the project actually familiar with it since 2017. But I missed it in that run, and I had already learned the lesson of not chasing green candles. So by the time I really discovered what it was about 50 cents. Went all the way up to $1.40 at the peak of the last bull market, and then started a long climb downwards. And when it hit 12 cents, it came down to 12 cents. That's when I started buying it, and I kept accumulating through the crypto winter. And I'm glad I did. Now, for those who weren't around back then, there was a lot of FUD, like, oh, Cardano will never make it. Oh, it's not Cardano, it's card delay. No. And what I saw was a very smart developer who was experienced in helping build Ethereum, who had very good ideas. And the foundations and the approach that he took to building it is one that takes longer to do, because in programming, when you take the time to plan it all out and set up the foundations really, really well, a lot of your time is front loaded. That then later, as you're putting the pieces together, they come together very quickly, and we are seeing that. And his vision was very smart, and his approach was very smart, and now we're seeing the fruits of that. And so why don't we talk about Cardano, how it's coming, where it's going, where the price is at, because there's some great news with it. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Join me, Rainmakers. Fantastic. I do thank you for joining me. I'm an investor myself. I'm a crypto investor. Now, I've been investing in crypto for 4 years. I've been investing in other things for 20. And so I approach everything like an investment. And I know Charles isn't big on talking about the price on Cardano, but that's exactly why I'm interested, because I don't know about you, but I came from a very meager beginning, a humble beginning. My family was very poor. My parents had lots of kids, and so the money didn't go very far. I didn't get a lot of presents when I was a kid. You know, I was blessed in that I wasn't totally impoverished. We did get to eat every day, so that was great. We didn't get the luxuries of life. Didn't even get to afford Kool-Aid. We could have 2 Flavor Aid packs per month, because it was a lot cheaper than Kool-Aid. So I like to laugh that we were growing up too poor for Kool-Aid. Now, I realize that in some total impoverished countries that are tuning in, you've had it even worse. And would you really think even worse because you're here? And what I like about that beginning is it makes you driven for more, right? And so I like to talk about price, because what I love about crypto is it's a place that if you use your money well, you can put it in at one value and then it goes up in value. And one of my favorite things that I've been investing in the whole crypto space has been Cardano. And Charles Hoskinson is a smart developer who got some experience through building Ethereum and figured out what the shortcomings of Ethereum were and set up a way to overcome all those shortcomings. And so we're really at the point that it's starting to hit some fruition. So I want to make some comparisons with Ethereum. But if you're looking at the charts here, I have it charted, Cardano versus Tether. This is on the 2-hour on Binance. And so if you look at it, it's broke above, and it looks like it's coming back to retest it. Now, depending on where you draw this line exactly, it might be right at the retest line, right? So if we were to increase this and look at it a little bit closer, is right close to that retest line. And so the question is, will it then bounce up and break up from here, or will it not? And so we're on the 2-hour. If you want to be really sure, a lot of people watch the daily to see exactly what happens. But I do personally like the smaller timelines. And so you are seeing some trending here, and it's hitting this resistance now, and that used to be support, and it's broken through, and now it might be turning into solid resistance, and if so, it might be ready to break out. Now, what usually happens is you have some massive runs, and then you do get some retracement, and retracement is healthy because things just don't go straight to the moon. They actually go up, and then they trade sideways, because what happens is they go up, it hits take profit zones for some people. And so then they sell, and sometimes they have large amounts, and they sell. And then as they sell, then other people sell because they get scared that it's going to keep going down. and then there's some momentum and a run, and then some more people take profits, and then a run and profits, and then a run and profits. And eventually you run out of people that are in take profit zones where they want to sell and people want to continue to hold. And so because all these people that have been buying during this, they are waiting for higher prices, most of them. And so at some point you run into where you have more buyers than you have sellers because a lot of the sellers sold off. And then bam, it's ready for some more momentum again. And it might just be ready. I want to take you back to 2017 in the last bull cycle. And there was a project coming out in 2000. Well, it had come out prior, but it was really coming into its functional use in 2017, about this same time frame, and that is Ethereum. So if we look at Ethereum and we go all the way back to 2017, in fact, that's versus Bitcoin. Let's look at the Ethereum versus USD because that is a better chart. So this is early 2017, and you can see from the beginning of the year, it really had some takeoff around the end of February, and it ran solid through June. And then guess what it had? It had some sideways trading. So it went all the way to a peak of $400 and then traded to $137. Now do notice though, this is later in the year than what we're at here. If we're to make more of a comparison, let's go here and let's look back to May. And let's look at where we're at. So May, it had some momentum, went all the way up to $100, then traded sideways just for about a week before it continued some massive momentum. Now, just because we're in May this cycle and last cycle this is May, if the actual cycle is mostly set by Bitcoin's halving, and Bitcoin doesn't halve at exactly 4 years, it's closer to 3 years and 10 months. And so the cycles and the patterns rhyme, but they do not repeat exactly. But I do often look at what happened is Ethereum, as I'm trying to figure out what Polkadot and Cardano will do, I look back to what happened when Ethereum's uses started to come online. And if you remember 2017, if you were here in this space, really the major use of Ethereum is they had just opened up smart contracts. It got listed on Coinbase, and it absolutely took off. And so they had these new things called smart contracts, and some new things were starting to build on it called CryptoKitties, and there were a few other projects. And also they started to figure out that they could use these smart contracts for initial coin offerings. Instead of sending Bitcoin, you could send from an Ethereum address a certain amount of Ethereum for the initial coin offering, and they would know to send the tokens right back to that same address. And so that was new technology and innovative. And so Ethereum started to catch some momentum, and it came all the way up here to $400. Then look how big this retracement is. It came all the way back down to $138 at the bottom, bounced all the way back up, and it created this nice resistance line here that then it finally broke above, and it went absolutely crazy. So it broke above here, came up to almost $500, actually above 500 here, and then it continued this uptrend, reaching a peak of $1,400, and then we entered the downtrend going into the long bear market. Now, I don't hate bear markets. I'm very happy for them. This bear market here made me a lot of money because even though I didn't take profits and I didn't sell anything at the top, I kept it. Now, I did sell some tokens for other tokens, but I kept 100% of my stuff in crypto. And most of my altcoins retraced somewhere between 95 to 99.5%. Some of them even went away completely. But I did keep accumulating during this time. So I love crypto winters and I love bear markets, and I think another one is coming after this. And I'm excited about it because I am going to still be here. I will take some profits this bull market, but I will still be here and I will be buying. And what usually happens is that things overboom. Just like we saw here, things overboomed and there was a huge hype cycle and there's a ton of FOMO. And then it overbusted because really it was too early to hit these kind of prices. And the only reason it hit such low prices is because of how high it went here. And so you usually get these overboom and overbust cycles. Some people think that'll never happen again. I tend to think it'll happen again. Human nature is somewhat predictable, so I'm looking forward to it. Here we are now going crazy on Ethereum, which is fantastic. So we've had some massive runs here. If you think about it, just back in October, you could have got Ethereum for $300. It is now 10x from there. I actually was lucky and bought a bunch right around $70, $75, $72. And, it's gone absolutely crazy since then. Now, part of the reason my portfolio has done so well is I do think, like an investor, I don't chase large green candles. I look for stuff like this as far as figuring out when to buy more. And it looks like it just had a strong wick down, just barely actually. And so we'll see if it breaks out. But Cardano, I've been accumulating more as it's continued on this trend line. I picked up a bunch more when it hit this previous lower trend line here. And so there was actually a second trend line, if you were to draw it out, that looked like this. And so when it would get near this, I would accumulate more Cardano, and I would sell off some of my other things that were in gains into Cardano because I expected this longer sideways trading pattern, and then it will have some really strong breakouts. And you can see some of my other videos for my price predictions on where I believe Cardano can go. And I still believe it. Some people think that's totally unrealistic. I've heard a lot of people say it'll only go to $3. I think they're just missing how much FOMO we're going to see later this year, and that you'll have a lot of people that have wealth in other places see crypto, think, oh my gosh, I'm missing out. They will transfer a lot of wealth into this stuff, and it will drive up prices much higher than it should go, which will lead to an overboom. And then that will lead to a bust that overbusts, and the cycle will repeat. That's my best guess. None of this financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a crypto investor myself. I share with you all what I'm investing in, what I'm buying. I started this channel because I knew it would give me better reach to be able to reach out to the developers, be able to get more direct information from them so I could share it all with you, and that's been working out very good. So I appreciate all of you that subscribe to the channel. I hope you feel my approach is unique and different. That's the goal of it. I didn't find a lot of YouTube videos that had an approach like I did, and so my hope was that my channel would be refreshing that way. You tell me. Do join the Telegram group if you're interested in chatting with some really smart people. I have 2 admins that help run that channel. I do pop in there pretty frequently, but also a lot of my community. They're really smart guys. In fact, a lot of the really good tokens that I have looked at have come from my community, and they said, hey, look at this. And not everything that people say in there is interesting, but some of the gems that I found when I looked at the charts and I looked at the fundamentals, I was like, oh, great. And then I covered it on my videos because I felt like there was something special there, and many of those have done very good. Actually, Orion Protocol came from my community. Somebody asked me to look at it. It was around $4, I think, at first. And when I first covered it too, because I then covered it immediately. Many of the things have come from my community that I've covered because there's a lot of smart people tuning in. So if you haven't joined the Telegram group, did have this special song made by Manuela in Argentina for all of you rainmakers, because this year is the year to make it rain. And, I hope each of you do tremendously well. I'm really excited about where this year is going and where it's going to go, as well as I'll be talking about taking profit strategies. Now, at the end of the day, it's on you. If you want to take profits, some people are holding on for a 5-year and they realize that probably things will overboom and then they'll overbust. Their plan is just to hold for 5 years. Personally, this time I'm going to be cashing out some, and I'll be talking more about take profit strategies as we get closer to when I'm starting to take profits. Right now, I'm not yet pulling anything out of crypto. Right, guys? Manuela, why don't you take it away for us?
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.